Hello, welcome to Lesson 7, Exercise 1 of Mastering Java. Here is what we need to do today. It says we'll continue working with the grocery store class that we created earlier. Copy and paste the code from the previous example to define the class, create the objects, and store the values into each variable. Then here comes the meat and potatoes of what we want to do. Create a method named gross revenue and add it to the grocery store class that calculates the gross revenue of the store. Then print the results to the screen. I can change that to print the results to the screen. All right, and then back in the main method, we want to call this gross revenue method for each of the three stores, Houston, Seattle, and Orlando. So really what we're doing is the same thing we did in the last exercise, but we're compartmentalizing the function of calculating the gross revenue inside the method, which is really where it belongs. Because logically speaking, if I have a method that contains all the information and the data to calculate something, I probably should put the calculation method down in there as well. And that way, everything related to that grocery store is compartmentalized, the data and the methods. So first, let me skip way down here to the bottom. This is the grocery store class. This is what we had earlier. This part doesn't remain or doesn't change at all. All we do is skip down, and under that we add a method. And we've already discussed methods in the course up until now. And here you're going to begin to broaden your horizons with what methods do and how we use them in terms of object-oriented programming. So here we have a method called gross revenue. We declare it as a void because it's not returning anything. Void means it doesn't return anything to the caller. So all we're doing is we're doing a calculation and we're printing something to the screen. And because we're not returning a value, we just put void out there. The two parentheses empty here mean that we're not using any parameters or anything like that. We're just going to call the function and the calculation is going to happen inside of here. We don't have to pass any values or anything. That's why we have that. Here's the opening curly and the closing curly to define our method. So inside of our method, we declare a variable whose scope will be limited to this method. We call it revenue. And then we just assign a value to that, which will be the revenue for a particular store. So it'll be the number of apples sold times the retail price of the apple plus the oranges sold times the orange retail price. So this is going to be a method that's going to be used for any object we've created, any grocery store, basically. So we calculate the revenue of the store, and then we print to the screen the gross revenue is $revenue. All right. So the point is we call this method, the revenue is calculated for the store, and then we print it out to the screen. So I'll say more about this a little bit later, but just remember that this is where the method is. It doesn't return anything. Its function is to calculate and print something to the screen. So let's go back up here to the top again and take it from the top. We have created our objects from the class. We've named them appropriately. We've stored the appropriate information into these objects, into the variables. And here is where things differ from the last exercise. Instead of calculating the gross revenue up here and printing it out, now we just put a print statement saying Houston store, and then directly under it we call a method. It's the gross revenue method that is a part of the Houston store object. All right, so what's basically going on is, notice how for all of our variable names, they're tagged with the object that they're associated with. Well, the method that we've defined down here is also associated with whatever object we've created. So we're calling the object in accordance with or in association with the Houston store, or I should say we're calling the method, this method gross revenue, that's associated with the data from Houston store. So what we do when we hit this line is we go down here and we execute this method, and the variable that's used is the variable that's associated with the Houston information or the Houston object. Then we come down and we print Seattle store, and then we call the method again, but this is a little bit different. When we called methods a long time ago, we didn't have them as part of any object or anything. We just created a method and I showed you how to call it. Here the method is part of the class, and so it's part of each one of these objects we've created for the grocery store. So we're calling this method as it associates with the Seattle store. So when it comes down here, it executes the calculation of the revenue calculation, but it's using the data that's associated with the Seattle store because this method here is part of this object. And so when we call it, it's going to use the data from that object. And then we go down and we have the Orlando store right there. And then we again call the method, but it's part of the Orlando object. So we have the dot notation there again. All right, so let me go ahead and hit save, and let me go ahead and hit run and see what happens. We have Houston store gross revenues 901.89, Seattle store gross revenue, Orlando store gross revenue. So it's the same numbers that we have computed before, but in a different way. It's organized differently. Let me go take you back to the exercise from the last lesson, and just remind you what it looks like. We created the objects, and then we had all of these, the data stored in there, and then we created three individual variables for the revenue of each store, and then we did the calculations up here in the main method. And then we printed the results up here in the main method. I think you can agree that this looks kind of messy. I mean, it works. It totally works. But we had all the duplication. Look at all the duplication. We had to calculate the thing for the Houston store, and then we had to calculate the thing for the Seattle store, and then we had to calculate the thing for the Orlando store, and then we had to print it for each one of the stores. It's a lot of extra code that's used, and it's kind of a nice instructive example to show you why objects and classes are useful, because in exercise 7 we just, since we know the method's going to be used over and over again, we just put it inside of the class, right? And then up here all we do is call that method, and since the method is part of the class, it's part of each one of these objects. Now, one thing I want to point out to you before I leave is notice that up here, whenever I store values, or over here when I was doing in the last exercise, when I was doing calculations, I had to use this dot notation here, because when I wanted to multiply something, I had to tell Java what object and what variable I was working with. But notice that down here inside of the class definition, I don't have any dot notation for any of these, right? Because when I create a method that's part of this class, I'm just going to use these class variables up here in a sort of a general way, because remember, a class is a template. So I say, all right, for grocery store class, create, we're going to have these variables, and we're going to have this method. And this method will operate on the variables above. If you remember, I told you that in general, the methods of a class generally are going to operate on the method variables, or the instance variables that we have for that particular class. And that's what's happening here. There's no dot notation here. There's no dots here anywhere, because this is a general template of a method that will operate on this data. Now, when we come up here and we call the method, we can't just call it by itself. We can't just type gross revenue with 2 parentheses, because it's always part of an object. So we say Houston store object, call the method, all right, associated with this object or in this object. Then when the method gets executed, Java knows to use the data that's part of the Houston store object. It knows that because I'm only calling the method that's part of that object. So if you don't see any dot notation down here, don't worry about it. That's because this is a template. Up here, it knows whenever we call this method as part of this object to use the variables associated with it. And that's why we don't, it really simplifies the code a great deal. So when we call this method, it's part of this object. And so when we do that calculation, it's going to use the Seattle data. And when we do this calculation, it's going to use the Orlando data as well. So make sure you understand that. A little bit of a subtlety, but you can see how it's so much easier that we can still simplify this a whole lot more, and we'll be able to simplify this a lot more later. But as far as the calculation, this is a whole lot easier to read than all of this. It just runs together. And it's basically simplifying that code, because this revenue calculation is going to be the same for every single object we have. So why not put it in the class definition? And that's what we're learning here. Make sure you understand it. Follow me on to the next lesson of Mastering Java.